Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the WrestleDude YouTube channel for another casual review here where I like to talk about any kind of movies, or I guess in this case, TV shows. Mostly, basically, superhero stuff, but I do a couple other things here and there. And for today's review, we are discussing the series Hawkeye that is now finished on Disney Plus, and I figured this would be a great time considering it is about to be Christmas in less than half an hour. And obviously the show ends on Christmas Day. I just shotgunned an entire Mountain Dew Major Melons, so I got a lot of energy with me. So we're going to discuss the show. But before we get started, obviously, spoiler warning, we're going to talk about the entire show, all the surprise stuff that happens, the ending, where it possibly goes next. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you guys thought of the show. But with that being said, let's get right into it here. Obviously, usually when I do these videos, I usually try to come up with the title for this rather than just saying like Hawkeye review. Like I try to do, let's be honest here, some sort of like clickbaity thing, you know, like for Spider-Man No Way Home, I think I put like Spider-Man No Way Home was fine, or like for any other like thing, I say like, was it bad? You know, something like that, just so sort of like be a little clickbaity and stuff like that. But for Hawkeye, I couldn't really think of something, so it's really just gonna be like a Hawkeye review. There's nothing really crazy clickbaity about it. Hawkeye, when the show was announced, I wasn't really ecstatic for it. I'll be honest, I wasn't really ecstatic for any of really the Marvel shows, maybe except for like WandaVision, just because I like the idea of her using her chaos powers and stuff like that to basically create an entire world where she just lives her life through different ages of television, which I thought was a really great concept. And to this day, I feel like it's still the strongest of all of the Marvel Disney Plus series. I think it goes. Actually, maybe I'll do like a ranking video on that later on, but I don't know. We'll see. But yes, Hawkeye, very fun show. I definitely loved it. Big thumbs up. Spoiler, I really liked it. It follows the story of Clint Barton and Kate Bishop, newcomer to the MCU, played by Haley Steinfeld, which some of you guys might know from Pitch Perfect. I think she was in Pitch Perfect 2, or at least that's where I first remember seeing her from. And then she was in Bumblebee, and I'm sure she's done a lot more stuff than that, but that's the two major things I can remember her from. And obviously, Jeremy Renner is the titular Hawkeye of the MCU, and this show falls on him being with his family for a little bit, and then obviously with Kate Bishop's side of the story, she gets involved with Ronan, Clint Barton's past. Obviously, I got my little Ronan Funko Pop sitting up here, perfect for the occasion. I really do love that suit. I think it looks really sick, which is why I bought the Funko Pop for it back when Avengers Endgame was coming out. It was a Walmart exclusive, so I think it looks really good, and it'll probably go up in price now that this show is done and now that the whole Ronan character is basically done for. But yes, very fun show. Go through and Kate Bishop and Clint Barton team up. They have to break down this mystery of like, you know, why are the tracksuits getting involved? How do we get Kate Bishop out of this? We have to basically clear Kate, and Clint has to get back to his family for Christmas. It's a whole lot of fun. They get Lucky the pizza dog along the way, and some big surprises come in the form of, first off, we get the introduction of the character Echo, which even before this show introduced her, we were told that she's getting her own Disney Plus TV series, so that's cool. And they have an entire episode dedicated to kind of introducing her, giving her backstory, how she's deaf and has to like basically how her father says like travel between worlds and stuff like that. She's got the prosthetic leg, but she's still an awesome fighter. And in her episode, when she's doing the martial arts, we get the first tease of Uncle. You know, big buff guy, kind of grabs her cheek a little bit, has that laugh, which teases us later on for the arrival of the Kingpin, which was sort of like this series, like with Marvel's fandom, and I think I talked about this maybe in one of my other reviews, but with Marvel fandom, I feel like every Marvel movie or Marvel product, like everybody like in the community kind of just like huddles around like this one thing that's gonna be like, oh, the big villain and whatever. Like for WandaVision, it was for Mephisto. For Falcon and the Winter Soldier, people thought Artem Zola was coming back. For Loki, I think people were thinking it would be Kang, which obviously it was a variant of Kang, so they were right on that front. What else was there? I can't remember what the big one was for What If. I don't think there was one for What If, just because we thought it was just going to be a bunch of random stories. But for Hawkeye, everyone thought it would be Wilson Fisk's Kingpin, and it turns out that's who it was. So later on in the story, after we meet Echo, she gets into the fight, and then Clint and Kate go to retrieve a watch that was also at this whole like underground secret like bidding thing that had some sort of big significance that they had to get back. So they try and go and get that. It's at Maya's apartment. They get into a big scuffle with her, which is where we get a really cool fake out where like Clint says like Maya's on the roof, but Maya's fighting Kate Bishop in the apartment, and you're like, what do you mean, what's going on? And then that's when we get introduced to this masked figure that's attacking Clint, and then she pulls off the mask and it's revealed to be Elena Belova, Black Widow's sister, adopted sister. Are they biological sister? I can't friggin' remember. Sister from Black Widow, which is awesome to see her back. That was pretty much the post-credit scene at the end of Black Widow, was teasing that she would be going after Clint Barton. So it's cool to see her in this series. I think she did an awesome job. That's where her story basically goes on from. In the next episode, she confronts Kate Bishop, trying to get information on where Clint Barton is. Kate doesn't give him up, obviously, and at the end of that episode, we get the tease of Kingpin coming to the MCU, which I know a lot of people were very excited for, I myself included. After that episode ended, I never watched the Netflix series, but there was one clip on YouTube that someone told me to seek out, and it was when I was a boy, his whole monologue where he's telling about the story of like the traveler from the Bible or whatever, and just that one clip made me really like that Kingpin actor, Vincent D'Onofrio. So I was very excited to see him in this, but it was kind of sad that we only got him in one full episode, but I'll talk about that a little bit more. Some other stuff that I wanted to talk about before we get into sort of like the finale talk. The whole mystery of like Jack being like a murderer or whatever. I feel like that storyline just kind of didn't really work for me, just because like they tried really, really hard to make Jack seem like the culprit, seem like the bad guy, and usually in shows like that or movies like that, when they're trying to push so hard that this person's the bad person, this person's the bad person, usually nowadays, maybe back in the day, maybe they did it where they were the bad person, but usually nowadays, movies and TV shows like to do the flip, where it's like, you guys thought he was the bad person, but really he's a good person. It was this good person that we thought was good, it's actually the bad person, and it's just very, very weird. But I kind of saw it coming. I think a lot of people saw it coming, that Jack was actually a nice person, and it was actually Kate Bishop's mom that was actually the bad person, which is what it's revealed to be. She is working with Fisk to kind of like keep the city under their thumb. And in the finale episode, we get Kate's mom confronting Kingpin, saying that she wants out because Kate is getting too close to what's all going on. Big climax. We get a big fight at the party, and there's a lot of really great fight scenes throughout this entire show. Lots of great interplay between Clint and Kate Bishop. Some people criticize that Kate Bishop isn't exactly super likable in this show, which, yeah, on some fronts I can kind of see, but at the end of the day, I like her. I think she's going to be really cool in a lot of other stuff heading forward. I think she did pretty fun here. And I think the costumes for both of them by the end of the series look really good. Not too crazy, like sort of practical, archery outfits, but still keeping with the central like color scheme of classic Hawkeye from the comics being purple. So yeah, big not anticlimactic, very climactic fight scene at 30 Rock where Kate brings down the tree with Clint in it. They go after all the tracksuits, bro, with all these awesome trick arrows, and Yelena and Clint fight it out. And that fight ends with sort of ex machina of Clint whistling the same way that Black Widow did. And that was another thing that I wanted to talk about with the show. I really do like how they keep bringing up sort of Black Widow's death to Clint, because obviously following Endgame, that is a very big thing that's hanging over him, especially since in that movie they both fought each other to see who would die. So that definitely makes it a lot harder. And now Black Widow's sister's coming after him and stuff like that. But anyways, the fight ends with Clint whistling the same way Black Widow did to her sister, and then that kind of gets Yelena to change her mind, calm things down, call off the fight, and she just leaves Clint to be. Which, I wasn't big on that. I think me and my brother were joking about it. Like, it's a good thing Clint knew how to whistle, because if he didn't know how to whistle, Yelena would have just popped him right in the head. He's just like standing there on his knees going, and Yelena's like, "The hell are you doing?" Boom. And then she's out of there. But yes, that was kind of a weird way to end it. Honestly, I feel like they could have done maybe a little bit more with that, but you know, it's a 6-episode series, so maybe they just didn't have the time. Maybe we'll come back to it in a later MCU project. Who knows? We'll see. And that's sort of the end of Yelena in this show. She was in it for a couple episodes. She tried to kill Clint, changed her mind at the last time because Clint whistled. It sounds a lot weirder when I just put it in plain terms like that. And Kate Bishop's story sort of ends when she goes to stop Kingpin from attacking her mom. Kate Bishop fights Kingpin, and this was a detail that I did not notice until I watched a new Rockstars breakdown for it. But when Kate is fighting Kingpin, she grabs one of his cufflinks off of his like jacket, which is a detail I did not notice, because when she does like the flip thing and she activates the arrows to make them explode, I didn't know what the hell she had in her hand. I thought it was just like a small little thing, maybe like a piece of an ornament or something she found on the ground. I didn't think it was a cufflink. But after noticing that detail, I was like, oh, that's cool, because apparently in the Netflix show, Kingpin is very particular about his jewelry and his cufflinks. So that's a very cool detail. And then this was another scene that I wanted to talk about from the finale, which features Kingpin. He's limping away from his fight with Kate Bishop after Kate gets her mom arrested, and then her mom tries to guilt trip her, like, is this what heroes do, arrest their moms on Christmas? I watched that and I literally nodded, yes, especially if their parents do something shitty. But yeah, he's limping off. He runs into Maya, and Maya holds the gun up to his head. Camera pans up, we hear a gunshot and a fall to the ground. And when I initially watched that, my first reaction to it was, are you fucking kidding me? But then maybe about 10 seconds later, thinking about it more, I was like, nah, he's not dead. Let's look at the facts here, people. Kingpin is not dead. He will come back. Like, there's already the speculation that they're going to do something from the comic books where apparently he gets shot in the eyes and he's just blinded for a little while. That's probably the route that they're going, because look at the facts. Kingpin got hit by a car and exploded by several arrows and was fine. You really think a shot to the head is gonna... I feel like he's on like some sort of super soldier serum or something like that. My theory is that he got it from the power broker, Sharon Carter, before the whole operation went down. That's just my opinion. Who knows? Maybe it'll be confirmed or denied in the Echo series, but that's what I'm assuming is Kingpin is still alive. He's just maybe temporarily blinded, and we'll see him in the Echo series, which will be a very interesting contrast, because you've got Echo, the girl who can't hear, and then you've got Kingpin, the man who can't see. So sort of two different worlds colliding there and trying to work against each other, basically. So yeah, initial reaction to that Kingpin ending was angry, and then after a couple seconds I was just like, he'll be fine, he'll be back. It's not, there's no fucking way, there's no way. Marvel has built up so much fan service over the past years. There's no way that they would bring in a character that is so hyped up by the fan base to bring him in for one episode of this series and then kill him off like that. There's just no way that's gonna happen. So anyways, the series ends with Clint and Kate going to Clint's farm home for Christmas Day. He made it, which actually we've got about 5 minutes left until actual Christmas here by the time I'm recording this. And at this point in the show, while they're like going into the house, I was wondering like, what the hell was up with the watch then? Like there was the watch at the black market auction. Like, did we just pretty much drop that whole subplot? And then Clint talks to his wife and says like, "Hey, look what I found, the watch." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then he gives it to her, and apparently it's his wife's watch. She was a SHIELD agent number 19, which apparently is like some sort of comic book thing. She was like Agent Hummingbird or something like that. Something bird. So yeah, that's a cool reference. Nice little thing if they ever want to maybe bring her into the MCU. You know, Velma, you know, she could put on a suit, be a cool agent and stuff like that alongside Hawkeye. And then the series ends with, I guess, Kate Bishop taking over the Hawkeye mantle from Clint so he can spend more time with his family. But then afterwards, the credits rolled, and I was waiting like, okay, we're probably going to get something with Kingpin, showing that he's not dead. Maybe we'll get something teasing the next series. Maybe we'll get something more with Yelena going back to her boss, saying like I couldn't do the job or something like that. I was interested. I was invested. The credits ended, and the screen was black, and I was waiting for something cool. And then I got what I would say is my least favorite of any of the MCU post-credit scenes, where we got the entire playthrough of the Rogers the Musical final number song. I know a lot of people liked it. I just thought it was stupid. And this is just me giving my opinion. Obviously, a lot of work went into this with the song and the choreography and the costumes and stuff like that. I just thought this was not fun. You know, like when I think post-credit scenes for Marvel, I think it's teasing something for the future. You know, like, and even while watching this, like I was fast forwarding through the parts because I was thinking maybe like at the end of this, maybe they're gonna pan to the audience and somebody important is gonna be watching the show or something like that. I stopped and waited until the very, very end of the credits, maybe thinking there would be something else. No, nothing. Just the Rogers the Musical play. I was like, well, that was very underwhelming. That is definitely my least favorite MCU post-credit scene. I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought of it. But overall, I would definitely rank this as maybe like my second favorite, maybe second or third favorite of the MCU Disney Plus series. I don't know. I think I might have to do a ranking video of that separately. But I really did enjoy this. A lot of the dialogue was really good. The story. Some stuff seemed to slip off at points. You know, the whole Jack storyline kind of slipped off a little bit. The whole thing with the watch kind of slipped off a little bit. The ending to the whole Yelena problem, not the strongest, but obviously it's a TV series with limited time. And, you know, they built up Kingpin really, really good with all the teases. I think they did a really good job. And honestly, I think they did a good job in the end with the fake out, like, oh my god, he's dead. For the people that aren't aware of like him being blinded in the comics, I think they're going to be a little bit more angry, but in the future when it's revealed that he's not dead, I'm sure they're going to be very happy. So overall, I give Hawkeye 2 thumbs up. Very cool show. I don't know where Hawkeye goes from here. Like I said, maybe he's now retired with his wife on his farm, and obviously Kate Bishop is going to take over the mantle for now. I don't know what next she could show up in. Who knows? We'll see. A lot of people were wondering why Spider-Man didn't show up in this fight, because obviously at the end of No Way Home, he's flipping around New York. He goes by 30 Rock, and obviously here in the show, they have the final fight in 30 Rock. Who knows? Maybe he's just not in the area for the fight. Maybe he's dealing with something else. Other tracksuits. Maybe we just saw him, didn't see him in the background. Maybe he was fighting other tracksuits. Who knows? I mean, in Endgame, we saw that the Sorcerer Supreme, like back in 2012, was fighting people in the New York battle. So maybe Spider-Man was just doing stuff in the background. But who knows? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you think Clint is going to be up to next? Where do you think Kate Bishop is going to show up next? Do you think Kingpin will be blinded? What are you expecting next from the next MCU properties? I know we've got Multiverse of Madness coming up. I still have yet to see Eternals. I think I'm just going to wait for it to go on Disney Plus, and then I'll check it out later. But yes, let me know in the comment section below all that, and I will see you guys on the next review, whatever the heck that is. See you guys later. And I think now it is 12 o'clock. Merry Christmas, everybody.